Meet Harambe, a monkey fueled by vengeance after being killed for the harmless crime of giving a trespasser a tour of his home. He's now reincarnated as the Chosen One, who's on a mission to track down relics to revive another legendary monkey who goes by the name of Myth Wukong. Legend tells us that Myth Wukong recovered some scriptures, so the gods offered him a position in heaven. Wukong rejected the offer as he just wanted to retire in the mountains, and he probably figured out that Erlang Shen is Illuminati with his third eye. Well, the game tells me it's a third eye, but to me it looks suspiciously like something else. I mean, if I had a few pints and I squinted hard enough, I would probably... After refusing the position, the heaven gods took it as an insult, so they got their revenge by wiping out almost all of the monkeys, which does make me think, is this recent breakout of monkeypox even real? Once the monkey genocide was completed, Wukong confronted the gods in a heavenly battle which acts as a brief game tutorial, but he lost due to a head tightening spell which seemingly destroyed him. Now, centuries later, we're one of the last remaining monkeys on a mission to gather 6 relics of Wukong's spirit in the hopes of bringing him back to life, because a monkey isn't just a mate, it's a primate. Quick spoiler alert for Chapter 1 gameplay and probably terrible jokes ahead. We spawn into the game and we're immediately attacked by 2 wolves, so naturally I start weapon spamming and abuse my staff more than Jeff Bezos. We one-shot an enemy with a heavy attack before looting his chest to borrow some treasures in the same capacity that the British Museum likes to borrow things from Africa. I find a shrine which can be used as a respawn point before this funny looking fella appears who acts as my guide. My monkey first starts giving me an itchy back, so I can't help but get jealous of his cute little back scratcher. We progress through the forest and kill various enemies, which earn us sparks that allow us to enhance our abilities. Each fight has been pretty easy so far, but then I face my first real challenge from a boss named Bullguard. I feel like I recognise him, before realising he's a spitting image of an XL bully. In the UK, there's a growing trend of XL bullies mauling people to death, so I wanted to make sure that I'm not the next victim. I soon realised that I accidentally entered the fight without a full gourd, which replenishes your HP, and then I start to panic when I use all of my health refills. After taking half of his health, our little friend comes to our rescue and freezes him with an immobilize spell. He then teaches it to me, which allows me to freeze enemies for a few seconds. If I had this in real life, I'd probably use it to slow down those cocaine-fueled Aldi workers, because who in their right mind is scanning groceries that quickly? The fight continues and Bullguard lands a big hit, taking our health so low that the whiff of a strong cheese would probably finish me off. We used a new immobilize spell before knocking him down with a charged heavy attack. I then finish him off with some light attacks, crowning us champions in our first boss fight, and probably the first person ever to survive an XL bully attack. We find a lovely spot to meditate, allowing me to truly appreciate the art design in this game. Sure, I'm on a brutal killing spree, but nothing clears the mind of cold-blooded murder quite like soaking in some breathtaking views. Next, we head into an optional boss fight against the Wandering Wight, also known as the giant Thanos baby. The way he struts around starts to freak me out because guess who's scared of fully conscious babies? I felt pretty confident going into this fight as I hadn't died yet, but little did I know how that was all about to change. After getting killed a handful of times, I did what any rational person would do when faced with a losing battle, and I ran away with my literal monkey tail between my legs. We head in a different direction and find a new boss called Guangxi, who started causing me some damage with his flaming sword.
That's what she said!
He uses it like an aggressive boomerang before impressing me with his dazzling ballerina moves. He takes me down a few times, but with each death I learn more about his attacks and how to counter them. We improve our timing for dodging, which builds up focus points, enabling us to perform some heavy attacks. Finally, I hit him with the beloved immobilize spell and then finish him off with the best combination since Arsenal and bottling the Premier League. We then pick up a new spell, which allows me to temporarily transform into Guangxi and use his weapon. If you could transform into someone that you just murdered, let me know in the comments who you're going to target if we ever have a purge. As we progress through the woods, we stumble upon a temple where we encounter a deadly wolf. You won't be surprised to hear I've got a strong hatred towards wolves, because I once had to change high school after I was given the nickname Wolfie. Basically, I went to ask the teacher a question, but as I said the word how, my voice broke into a squeak, so it sounded like I howled like a wolf. I've had a vendetta against wolves since then, to the point that I forced myself to watch the Twilight films just so I could cheer on the vampires and pray that they would win. I even watch every Wolverhampton Wanderers game just so I can boot up my TV for 90 minutes, so I head into this battle ready to get my revenge. I start this fight the same way as every other boss fight, by dying multiple times and squeezing my controller as hard as I can. We get better with each attempt, but every time he howls, I just feel like I'm back in maths class. He lands an aggressive bite on us, and then I start to panic about whether or not monkeys can attract rabies. I eventually manage to defeat him before he drops a wolf mask which I savagely wear. It kind of suits me. Maybe I don't mind the nickname after all and shouldn't have killed him. As we continue exploring, we come across a pill that boosts our overall health. I don't usually consider myself an impressionable person, but thank you Black Myth Wukong for teaching me the important lesson that pills are healthy. We progress into a swamp area where we see a creature that looks recognizable.
That's a frog, innit?
I land a few hits but quickly get distracted when he starts twerking on me froggy style like a drunk Kermit. I reject his advances as I'm not French enough to enjoy frog legs, so I kill him instead in what was probably the easiest boss fight so far. We then meet an old man who gives me something called guidance, which allows me to capture souls which we can use during battles, including the frogs who we just defeated. Our journey leads us to the snake trail where we fight against a boss called Guangmo. He uses magic to attack me with Mother Nature, but I just wish that he would leave me alone. That joke was so bad that the game punishes me and immediately kills me before we try him again where he starts summoning poisonous snakes. I've hated poisonous enemies since Pokemon and I've hated snakes since Harry Potter, so for me this is the worst combination since Arsenal and not bottoming the Premier League. I decide to counter Guangmo's magic with some magic of my own and summon the new frog soul that we just captured. I was hoping it was going to deal some more damage, but with the size of that tongue I think he probably enjoyed it. He benefits from a fight at distance, so I attack him from close range instead and easily defeat him. We then capture his soul with the guidance which will allow me to summon him in future battles. As we progress with our travels, I'm pleasantly surprised to finally see another monkey. I'm really excited to see him, but I'm getting the impression that he's twice as excited to see me. He opens up his door to me, where I make a new brew that increases my resistance to poison. I may be playing a fictional monkey who I'm pretending is Harambe, but nothing's ever going to stop me from making a proper brew. We come across our next boss who's called the White-Clad Noble, an elegant fella who I easily beat with my first attempt. Well, that's what I initially thought, before he transformed into a mermaid-looking serpent that absolutely ruined me. This was my most frustrating boss fight, and after an hour of dying over and over again, I decided to look around to see what I could use to help. I head back to my monkey pal's shop where we purchase a celestial lotus seed that allows me to make a new brew to increase my health recovery, all while supporting some local monkey business. I then change my sparks for the first time, where I upgrade to different abilities and change my fighting style to a pillar stance. As someone who usually has commitment issues when upgrading game skills, I love how you can change your abilities for free at any point in the game. I wish you could do this in real life so that I could remove my pointless skills such as first aid and instead do something that will really save lives, like increase my ability to drive better when I'm drunk. Just in case the sarcasm is lost on anybody, please understand that I am obviously joking. I'm a great drunk driver. We fight White-Clad Noble again and barely receive much damage as we take him down to his mermaid lifeform. At this point we change tactics by using a transformation and make some progress with the fire stick. Being able to lunge at a distance makes this my favourite fire stick after my dodgy Amazon one that gives me all of my sports channels for free. We evade most of his attacks by dodging and perching in our pillar stance before finally killing the mermaid serpent bastard in what is definitely my most satisfying victory yet. During our travels we've already rung 2 bells, and shortly after we come across a third one that we ring as well. It grants us access to a secret boss fight, and of course it's another giant Thanos baby. He ruthlessly stomps and headbutts me as I get back into the habit of repeatedly dying. He then sends all of his minions after me, which is a visual representation of me running away from all of my responsibilities. He begins floating to meditate, and then his minions start sacrificing themselves, which replenishes his HP. On my next fight he tries it again, so this time I kill the minions, which I realise recovers my health too, giving me the upper advantage in this fight. I then hit him so hard that he starts crying, and I'm immediately reminded of every crying baby that has ever ruined my flight.
Fuck them kids. Fuck the kids?
I close my eyes and pretend I'm on a plane as I run down the aisle and give the crying baby a smack on the head, which finally helps me defeat the giant Thanos baby. We continue to explore and find another meditating spot, which quickly removes my guilt of just pretending I smacked a crying baby. I wish yoga in real life was this relaxing, but when I tried it once and accidentally saw my weird body in the reflection, I just went back to comfort eating instead. We upgrade our abilities before fighting some enemies who are lurking in the shadows. I hate that when someone like Batman lurks in the shadows, it's mysterious and heroic, but when I do it, it's creepy and violates the curfew of my tag. I then come face to face with the next boss, the Black Wand King, who looks like Dwayne Johnson if he was a Clash of Clans character. I was writing that joke at the start of the fight, so he gets his revenge by attacking me whilst I'm AFK. He has a massive spear, can turn invisible, and also breathes fire, but I can repeatedly spam dodge roll and light attack, so it's a pretty even match. We both drink whilst making eye contact in a moment that was so intimate I'm almost tempted to ask why he's called the Black Wand King. After a couple failed attempts, we transform into our old poison friend Guangmo to summon snakes and poison him. He lands a big hit and almost finishes the job, but we manage to stop him by using the immobilize spell before quickly healing ourselves. We whittle down his health before transforming into Guangzi, where I finish him off with my flaming sword.
That's what he said, right?
Guys,
He then tells me to meet him at the top of the summit for another scrap, which makes me think he's got an addiction to getting his ass kicked. I'm a bit concerned because people get seriously judged for addictions, like my dog's addicted to fetch and he gets a lot of stick for it. We travel through a cave where we do some wholesome herb picking, before heading through a doorway where for some reason we suck in our belly to get through. A horrid truth then dawns on me as I realise that Harambe has body dysmorphia. I want to quickly use this platform to remind everyone that all monkeys are beautiful and shouldn't have to conform to social media standards. I start making my way up to the top of the summit before putting on a disguise worse than Clark Kent's, a monkey mask. We then find the last boss fight of this chapter, where the Black Wand King has transformed into his second form, a big-ass scary bear. I'm not sure why we glorify bears by making them into cuddly toys, because these things are genuinely terrifying. I used to think that they were kind of adorable, but this one looks like he'd eat Goldilocks instead of the porridge. We managed to take him down to half health on the first attempt, but this is where the real challenge begun as he erupted the battlefield into a ball of flames. I'm immediately set on fire and it feels as hot as my shower temperature whenever I use it after my girlfriend. He kills me by turning invisible, then he ground pounds me to death before stomping on me like a puny little cockroach. By the 10th fight we have memorized all of his moves and easily avoid most of his attacks. We slowly chip away at his health before finishing with some perfect dodge rolls followed by a smack on his bare backside. I then claim the first relic which concludes the first chapter, and honestly guys, I haven't enjoyed a new game this much for a long time. I may have died around 100 times, rage quit once or twice, and verbally abused some fictional game characters with words that should never be repeated, but I already can't wait to do it all over again for the remaining 5 chapters. Thank you for watching, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.